The topic is all about gases. I'm going to talk about, well, today I'm inhaling my oxygen and hydrogen. I'm going to take it off so easier for me to talk. Today we're going to talk about gases, two very important gases in our lives, oxygen and hydrogen, and how it relates to our health, and also what it does in terms of the diseases that we suffer. Okay, this is so important. Okay, before I start, let me disclaim again, as always, I cannot treat you or diagnose you just based on this presentation and the questions. So basically, this presentation is for information purposes, for education purposes. So if you have any serious matter that you want to discuss, please make an appointment and we can talk about it professionally, or you can discuss with your doctor. So in terms of gas exchange, you have to understand. I think those of you who pay attention in biology class, you would know that you need to breathe in oxygen and you need to breathe out carbon dioxide. Correct? Very simple. Through your lungs. And why is that important? Because the oxygen goes to your red blood cells in your blood, carries to all your organs, your tissues, in fact, every cell in your body. And at the same time, within the cell, there is exchange of gas. The oxygen comes in, the carbon dioxide goes out, and is carried back to your lungs again, and then it goes out. Okay, that is how we survive as aerobic humans, basically humans that breathe. Now, so why do we need oxygen? Well, first reason, obviously, to stay alive. Without oxygen, you can't stay alive. But we need oxygen because it converts the food that we eat into energy for us. It is important for our brain function, our immune regulation. And if you have any pulmonary diseases, lung-related diseases, heart diseases, you need the oxygen. And as aerobes means basically life that requires oxygen. Ocean, marine life also needs oxygen. Don't think that the fish don't breathe, okay? The fish also needs oxygen inside the water. The other important thing about oxygen is at the upper level, which we call the ozone layer, it protects us from the damaging effect of the sun. So therefore, it also has a role up there. And if you have too low an oxygen, you will suffer from hypoxemia and hypoxia, which are the diseases related to diseases like COVID-19. But something you must note also that too much of a good thing sometimes is bad. So if it's too much oxygen, you got other problems. So how long do you think you can survive without oxygen? This is a standard chart. Different people will vary differently. 1 to 2 minutes is enough to have brain damage. So please be very careful. Don't go and hold your breath for 1-2 minutes. 5 to 10 minutes, you have serious problems. But of course, there are professional divers. You go to Japan, they dive in for the pearl. They can do 10 minutes, 15 minutes, no problem. By the way, the world record is 24 minutes. This guy can stay underwater for 24 minutes. He's from Croatia, and he's got the Guinness World Record. Okay, I checked that out. Right. Now, all of you have a chat button, right? You can type in. You know, our brain is only 2% of our body weight. So if you weigh 50 kilo, it's only 2% of that, which is what? 100 grams, something like that. So how much oxygen do you think your brain needs? Does it need any oxygen? Zero? Does it need a lot of oxygen? A little oxygen? Sorry, going back to your biology class. So all of you are welcome to type, like Evelyn always say, exercise your fingers. Okay, how many percent of oxygen does the brain need? Let's see who get the right answer. See who's the clever one who pay attention in biology class. Everybody type in already? Question is, how much oxygen does the brain need? Do we need any or we don't need any? Anyway, this is the answer. About 20%. So imagine that every time you take a breath, 20% is used up by your brain. So if you don't inhale enough, or if you exercise too hard and you don't bring in enough oxygen, you feel fainting, you feel like vomiting. So what happened? Of course, you're not fit lah. You're not getting the 20% that you need on average. Okay. I only have 2 questions today. Don't worry. Okay. Second question. You know, when you breathe in the air, everybody thinks that we are breathing in oxygen. Okay, but that's wrong. We are breathing in 21% oxygen. The rest is nitrogen plus a little bit of other gases, because we cannot breathe in pure oxygen all the time. It will be very damaging for us. So the oxygen that we breathe in the air is only 21%. It's around, it varies, sometimes 23. Of course, if you go up the mountain, it could be less. That's why you feel a bit dizzy. So there are certain diseases, if you suffer, that you will need oxygen therapy. You know, for example, you have pneumonia, asthma, or something called COPD. If you have lung diseases, trauma, which is the last thing you can see, COVID-19, which is a trauma to the respiratory system, you need supplemental oxygen in terms of therapy. So how do we know we are low on oxygen? So everybody should have an oximeter now, especially during this COVID time. Basically, what happened is you have rapid breathing. Of course, you are like a fish out of water. You are pulling your breath. You have shortness. Your heart rate goes up because the heart is trying to keep up with more oxygen. You are coughing, wheezing, sweating. I already said, if not enough oxygen reach your brain, which requires a lot, you get confusion, right? So what happens? That is why people who get into COVID ICU, where there is a lack of oxygen, they get a lot of mental confusion. Some even get suicidal, right? You even see changes in the color of your skin, obviously, turn bluish. So if you have an oximeter, what are you looking for? 96 to 98 is very normal, to 100 some people. Below 95, you're already having some minor issues. But below 90, you have hypoxia stage 2 already. And below 80, you're in stage 3. Once you start having hypoxia, you need supplemental oxygen to balance back what you need. Okay? Now, but what if you keep taking oxygen? It's a good thing, right? We all know that we need oxygen to survive. We need oxygen to function. But on the other hand, like all things in life, too much of a good thing can become bad. Even water. Let's say you drink water. If you drink too much water, then it's a problem. So we got a problem known as oxygen toxicity. Now, there are also symptoms related to that. Very fast, you will have visual loss, twitching of the muscles, you have respiratory problem, and you will have seizure too. Yeah, if you are having very high dose of oxygen continuously, this is a problem too. So when you treat someone with COVID-19, for example, it is a very tight balance. You want the oxygen to go in so that the patient can get the oxygen required, but at the same time, you have to be concerned about toxicity. The other thing we know is oxygen, as I said earlier, can be harmful. So it is known as a double-edged sword. You need it to burn the nutrients, to convert food to energy so that you can survive. But at the same time, because it is burning, it also burns your own tissue. In what way? Through oxidative stress. We call it oxidative because it comes from the word oxygen. Just like your metal will rust, your iron will rust, you get cell damage. It affects your whole body, from the eyes to the heart to the skin. Why does our skin start aging, start having wrinkles? All these things are exposed to continuous free radical oxidative stress. Okay, we call it free radical because the oxygen creates something called damaging free radicals. And this is what creates a lot of diseases. So if you look at an apple and a cell, this is exactly what is happening. Okay, when you have an aging cell that has a lot of free radical attacking it, you get oxidative stress, just like the apple you can see. And you can see that from a young person to an old lady, you have been exposed to many years of oxidative stress and you get aging, right? Another problem with oxygen, once you go into the hospital and you go for treatment and you start using concentrators and you start using ventilators, you have lung injury. You have lung injury due to excess oxygen, which creates hyperoxic lung injury. And then you got the instrument or the device that's pushing the oxygen in. Therefore, what do you get? Ventilator-induced lung injury. And this is the typical scan that you see from someone in COVID ICU. And it takes a long time. Sometimes permanently it's damaged. It will take a long time to recover, which is why we are talking about COVID rehab. Because these are the trauma that happens when you are in stage 4, stage 5 of COVID. So this is the double-edged sword of oxygen. It heals you, but it also can harm you. So what is the answer? Well, one of the answers that has been used, for example, in China, is you mix the gas. Why? Because oxygen is 16 times heavier, denser than hydrogen, which is why it's so difficult to breathe in when you are sick, when you're fatigued, when you're tired and you don't have the energy to breathe. How are you going to pull in a heavy mass like oxygen? Correct? So therefore, if you mix with hydrogen to help the oxygen pull in, you get the benefit of a lighter gas that can enter your body. At the same time, you enjoy therapeutic benefits. So what are the therapeutic benefits? Well, you see the 4 things there. It is an antioxidant. It will stop the inflammation. It's anti-inflammatory. It will improve your signal modulation because it is all the signals that triggers your inflammation markers. Then you have cytoprotection. So these are all the benefits related to the oxygen that you, related to the hydrogen that you breathe in. So in combination, H plus O, you get the benefit of oxygen, plus you get the benefit of hydrogen. So what is hydrogen? Well, first of all, you look at the sun, it's burning all the time. It's supposed to burn for another 5 billion years. So don't worry, it's not going to run out. It is the nuclear fusion of hydrogen. When the hydrogen joins together, it releases energy just like a hydrogen bomb. So the sun is actually a continuously running hydrogen bomb. It releases so much energy, enough to fuel life on Earth. Okay, it is lightest, smallest, and the most molecule in the world. And it also exists in our body. 10% of our body consists of hydrogen. But because of the energy of hydrogen and how much power it has, it is used in industry traditionally. It's used in fuel cell, I mentioned atomic bomb, production of fertilizers, in electronics, many areas. Okay, but medical hydrogen, as we know it today, is quite new. But there are 1,000 over studies, 170 human animal studies using molecular hydrogen as a biomedical agent. All right, it was first used in the 1800s to look for bullet holes when you pump the gas into the intestines. But in 2007, this Japanese scientist, Osawa, wrote a very important paper, and he's the first one to show scientifically that medical hydrogen is very important. And since then, many people have published studies, books about hydrogen as medicine. Okay, so what can it treat? Because it's so universal and because it's so light, hydrogen can diffuse, can permeate, can ingest throughout your whole body. So we're talking about metabolic syndrome like diabetes, hypertension. We talk about eye issue. We talk about aging, wrinkles, freckles. We talk about side effects from chemotherapy, from radiotherapy. All these things, hydrogen can help. Why? Because it is a selective antioxidant. It only targets the bad radicals. And our body produces some good radicals. Not everyone is bad. It doesn't target those. It is selective. And it is so small, it can go inside the cell. And you don't need to take a lot of it, because if you keep taking things, you can't swallow that many. And you can use it for long periods because it is safe and non-toxic. You can continue inhaling for 6 hours, 8 hours, no problem. But you cannot continue to take supplement pills for 8 hours. You cannot continue to drink water for 8 hours. But through a gas, you have a lot of advantages. This is a comparison of the size of the molecule versus other antioxidants. If you look at the vitamin C, it's about 176 times in size in terms of the molecular weight. And as I mentioned, when the hydrogen neutralizes the harmful free radical, the only side effect you get is water. So there's no other side effect. And at the bottom, again, I show you the difference in molecular weight. Hydrogen is the smallest, only 2. And then all the other antioxidants are a few hundred. This is the brain. How do you take it in? Well, you can drink it in, you can inhale it in, you can inject it in, you can use eye drops, or like in Japan now, it's very popular. We have something called a hydrogen spa. You pay a lot of money, you go to Tokyo, you can soak yourself into a bathtub with lots of hydrogen gas bubble in. And you will notice a big change. Some of the people here have already tried it on their skin, and they have seen a lot of numerous benefits. Okay, at this point, I want to thank my guest, Dr. Philip. Dr. Philip, for those of you who don't know him, he has been my friend for many years, and he has a clinic in Bangsa. It's been running for, I don't know, 7, 8 years, long time. It's called Living Well. He is a promoter of naturopathy, using natural ways to heal people. He is very experienced. Currently, he is in Sarawak, Kuching, which is where he's from. I want to thank him for joining me tonight to say a few words about his experience. This is what he has published for himself as a guide. So I don't have to talk for 1 hour on one page. He summarized everything. So you just have to read this, call the number, because if you know him, he'll give you a free demo. If you don't know him, you have to pay 150 ringgit. Okay, Dr. Phil, let me ask you some questions. Okay, so far I know you've been doing for your patients and for people coming to your clinic using oxygen plus hydrogen. And I know you promote using not just inhaling, but also using the goggles for the eyes, for the ears. What is your experience so far with your patients? What is the feedback?
Well, I think Dr. Jerry has done a complete introduction. And I'm surprised that after all that, he still has questions for me. But if you look at if you are listening to Dr. Jerry and you hear what he's been saying about hydrogen, you would understand a few points. Number one is that hydrogen helps with signaling in the body. And hydrogen molecule's function as cell signaling is very important. You will find that there is a slide before this where it shows the size of hydrogen, and it's highly accessible to many and every part of the body. Okay. You find that out of all the properties mentioned, okay, if I were to take an analogy and say that, hydrogen being anti-inflammatory, having antioxidant properties, what are the other alternatives out there? Now, if you were to take antioxidants through the digestive system. You know, there are several factors here. How good is your digestion, your absorption ability, and so on and forth. Therefore, the antioxidant that you take may not reach the part of the body that is meant to go. And earlier, Jerry has been emphasizing on several aspects of brain, how small hydrogen is, and therefore, when you inhale hydrogen through the nasal route, you find that unlike other antioxidants where you have to go through a long process, the tubes that directly connect to your neck and lungs will immediately reach your eyes and the brain. And the only shortcut to that is, why not use the goggles? Go straight to the brain. There's no longer even a need to go through the lungs to reach the neck and all that. Use the goggles, go straight to the brain, and you will feel a big difference there. Okay? And I've always said during these times of COVID that the real pandemic out there actually is autoimmunity. The real pandemic out there is autoimmunity. You find that you may not find a COVID patient in every household. You will find an autoimmune patient in every household, literally. Okay, so that is more of a pandemic than COVID-19. So the long and short of what Dr. Jerry was asking is the experience of using the goggles. You get eagle eyes out of using the goggles with just one session. And it doesn't even need to be an hour, 30 minutes will do the job. So for those of you who are still not convinced as to how molecular hydrogen straight to the brain can help you, use the goggles for half an hour and see what you experience after that short half an hour session. Okay, Jerry, I've taken too long to answer a simple question.
It's okay. That was good. You give me time to go and prepare my goggles. I want to show people who have not seen a goggles before. This is how it looks like. And these are the tubes that bring in the hydrogen. And like Dr. Phil say, all you need is 30 minutes. And then you, of course, don't close your eyes when you're doing it. You want the hydrogen to diffuse. It not only does a good job for your eyes, but it also reaches your brain. And I think today I received a testimony. I didn't want to post it, but later I'll do it from a madam that says that her cataract, she had cataract the last testing, and she used the hydrogen and the cataract is gone miraculously just for a few weeks of using. So it does work. This is probably the third testimony I've heard. I do this half an hour with my eyes open. Don't do at night. At night, very difficult. At night, you're going to fall asleep. So when I wake up, I do this. And then you can actually see like a sunglasses, and you can carry on with your work if you want. 30 minutes twice a day, if you can afford it, it'd be very good. Especially if you have eyes problem, you do a bit more. And so Dr. Phil, I want to ask you also in terms here, especially the ladies, they want to know, because it is highly used now, hydrogen, for anti-aging and for beauty. Tell us a little bit, because I understand your clinic also, you get involved with anti-aging.
Okay. Earlier, I spent a couple of minutes to talk about and I touched on cell signaling of molecular hydrogen. The reason it's so important that I emphasize it is because the antioxidizing function of hydrogen to molecular cellular signaling is that the signaling of the enzymes would then lead to so-called the incurable diseases such as dementia, cancer, autoimmunity. Okay, and this is why I emphasize so much on using the goggles on top of using the nasal tubes, because that cell signaling would then open the window to so many other possibilities that are currently known as incurable. And I've mentioned three very important ones: the big C, dementia, which is aging, and as well as what I personally consider to be the real pandemic, which is autoimmunity.
Yep. So remember, whether it's COVID, whether it's aging, whether it's so many, it's all to do with our balance and optimized immune system. So I know that for many years, Dr. Philip has been working on that as his specialty in terms of tuning your immune system. Once that is functioning well, everything else falls in place. Sounds simple, but there's a lot more to it. It's to do with a lot of the elements of health, which he has summarized as 5 elements. We won't talk about it maybe another day. But yes, gene expression is one of the important things also, because we have a lot of genes. If they are not signaled correctly, things don't work. You talk about cancer, you talk about chronic diseases. We always blame that we got bad genes. Sometimes our lifestyle, the things we do, drive the gene signaling. So it doesn't mean that you are born with the bad genes. It's just that you're sending it the wrong signals. Your body is not working in unison, so you have those issues. Very good, Dr. Philip. Thank you so much. And well, for those of you in KL, if you want a demo of the oxyhydrogen machines, there are several available for you. And obviously, if you are short of time, please try the goggles. You can do it in Bangsa. And from there, you have a chance to evaluate how good the machine is for you.
Since you mentioned about the machines, let me just add one more thing. I mean, we're all in the midst of COVID-19. The machine has an immense role to play in terms of dealing with COVID altogether. Now, some of you, many of us will think that, okay, I'm safely at home. My test shows that it is negative. It does not mean that there is no viral activity in your body. It just means that your immune system is handling the viral activity very well, and therefore your test comes out negative. Imagine that if the viral activity is there at the low level, your immune system is handling it well. What if you get a phone call and it shows bad news and you are under tremendous stress? Your immune system automatically dips severely. And that's when you can easily succumb to the low level viral activity in your body suddenly becomes more dominant. If you are using molecular hydrogen, you find that you'll be able to suppress that kind of a situation quite easily. Okay, Dr. Jerry.
Good point, Dr. Philip. Let me summarize what he just said. Do not wait until you are sick to use oxyhydrogen. And even if you have recovered, you have suffered damage that you don't even know about in your lungs and things like that, which we call rehab. So you need it after you recover and even before you get it. Because COVID-19 is a respiratory disease, it is very important that you optimize your immune system using the hydrogen and the oxygen so that you have strong immune. And at the same time, when you have all this inflammation coming in, you want to prevent it from getting worse, you need the oxyhydrogen in place. So I also have been receiving calls at the last minute. People calling me that, oh, my father is going to be admitted to hospital. The SpO2 has dropped to 90 and below 90. Can I quickly get the machine now? Like today? you have to understand, you don't look for the toilet when you're ready to use it, correct? Like we always say. So please think about this carefully. Anyway, moving on. Thank you, Dr.
I promise I'm going to just add one more thing, and that's the last you hear of me tonight.
Please go ahead.
Since you've been talking about the COVID and all that, I just add for one more thing for those who are more biochemistry inclined, that molecular hydrogen activates also coenzyme Q10, and in turn then restores exhausted CD8 and T cells in our body. And that is a very crucial part of your immune system.
What he's saying is, when we take the vaccine, we go measure our antibodies, we get so panicky when it's too low and it's not high enough, we take another extra jab to bring it up. What he's saying is our immune system against diseases is not only measured by antibodies. There are other immune protection that our body provides that we should be looking out for, not just the antibody. Okay, so do not focus on that alone. You need to look at our other cells that protect us. Okay, moving on. Next slide. So how do we already mentioned the goggles on the left, 30 minutes once or twice a day. Our ears, which actually helps diffuse to our brain. Here in the middle photo, I'm doing the ears. And then on the right, of course, we have the inhalation where we need to do 1 hour twice a day. If you have serious diseases, you might want to do more. And it's important that we keep this ratio of 2/3 hydrogen and 1/3 oxygen, because as I mentioned earlier, the oxygen in the air that we breathe is 21%. So here we have 33%. By the time you inhale with some leakages around your nose, it is just a perfect ratio for you. At the same time, you have the advantage of the hydrogen following the oxygen to give you all the benefits that Dr. Philip was talking about. Got it? So, how did this thing become suddenly the hottest thing? Wow, it has been used by Professor Dr. Zhong. He is like a big hero in China now. He's a SARS expert. He identified the first SARS. He did a test on 32 medical centers in China. And right now, they've included it into the protocol to treat people with COVID. Combination oxygen plus hydrogen. And because of this study, they have got 100% recovery with no fatality. And this is a graph of their study, seeing improvement in breath, cough, chest pain, even depression. As I mentioned, when you lose oxygen, you get a lot of mental issues. So you will suffer depression. So you can see the improvement just within 2 to 15 days. This is a typical case. There are many, many cases. If you look at his study, which you can get online, this is a typical lung lesion on the left due to so much inflammation. And then on the right, 5 days after using oxygen and hydrogen as a therapy. Okay. Well, besides what's done in China, many scientists, many studies have also been done in terms of hydrogen as a medicine for organ dysfunction, which is a result of the COVID-19. You got sustainable treatment. All over the world, there has been studies done, okay? If you drink the water, which is also infused with hydrogen, you get extra antioxidant. But like Dr. Phil mentioned, of course, we know that gas has a faster effect. It doesn't have to go through your digestive system. Now, a lot of people ask me about the FDA registration. Yes, it is a factory manufacturer that is registered. Why is that important? That is important because many people can make hydrogen. I can make it in the lab with some electrodes, some equipment using a process of electrolysis. But are you going to drink that? Are you going to breathe that? You do not know, because this is a device that you're going to use all the time. You're going to inhale it all into your body. You're going to drink it all into your body. So you cannot have inferior components, and you cannot have poor manufacturing, and you cannot have something called degradation. It may work the first month, but it gets worse and worse, and other materials start coming in like ozone, oxides, hypochlorous acid, chlorides, coming from the leftover of the chlorine in the water. So all these things will seep in. So which is why medically it's so important that we have a reference for the US FDA. I mean, FDA is not perfect. They regulate drugs and all that. When it comes to non-drug, at least we have the registration to ensure that it meets a certain standards. Now, in terms of COVID, how does it act? It acts in two ways. It has an antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effect, which is what kills you eventually, uncontrolled inflammation. At the same time, it regulates your immune at the first point. So which means when the virus first comes in, your body is trained up to respond to it properly. So which one should you buy? People ask me this question all the time. Do you want to buy the gas or you buy the... Of course, you want both. But if you are seriously having a respiratory type problem, if you are a smoker, if you live in a polluted area, we live in KL, is all polluted anyway. If you want to improve your brain function, your heart function, your eyes, your ears, everything, of course, the gas works best because nothing impedes it. You're taking the gas directly into your cells, okay? Of course, water is something you drink all the time. You want it for hydration, blood circulation. If you're an athlete exercising, you need water, okay? Well, I'm very happy today to have someone very special, Miss Evelyn Lim. She is currently the president. For those of you who never heard of BNI, she'll tell us a little bit about it. It's a business networking. I joined them, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months ago. And I can say that I'm very happy. Because of BNI, my business activity has increased quite a bit. And I think Evelyn was the person who introduced me to BNI. Thankfully, I have to thank her officially today. And she's given me great support. She's also a strong user of the AAA product. She's also running her own business in Norwex. Norwex stands for Norwegian Experience. It makes very specialized cloth. I use it. The first one I bought was to clean my wine glasses because my wine glasses cannot see the wine properly. So I have to clean until it's very shining. So she got wonderful. So Dr. Philip has a beautiful wine glass collection. So it's time that he get one of these cloth. Of course, we use it in the kitchen, in the bathroom. I love the scrub. I scrub it all over my body. So you see, in business, we share. We share and we support each other. We cross-reference. We give referrals. So I won't steal your thunder, Evelyn. I'll let you talk. So first question to you. Tell us how you are the president of BNI Achievers. What does that mean for people who don't know?
Yeah. Oh, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm very pleased to have been invited by Dr. Jerry this evening to be his special invited guest to speak here. Okay. So, yeah, I know Dr. Jerry, I think 1 year ago, so when he comes and approached me about this AAA Green Cell, so immediately I asked him to join our BNI Achievers chapters. Okay, so what is BNI? BNI is founded in year 1985 by Dr. Ivan Meissner, and this year BNI is 36 years, and currently BNI has over 270,000 members and 10,000 chapters in all over 74 countries, and BNI is the largest and proven business networking organizations, and we BNI members are business professionals who helps each other to grow their business through their commitment to our principal core value, which is Givers Gate. So each week in thousands of communities across the globe, members meet with other business leaders to build and nurture lasting relationship and pass qualified business referrals. And as BNI member, you will have an opportunity to network and do business with hundreds of thousands of BNI members around the world, just like we do it every week, every Tuesday morning in our Achievers Chapters weekly meeting that we pass very high referrals and thank you note to our business partner, I can say. Yeah. Back
Great.
to you, Dr. Jerry.
Yes, wonderful. So anyway, because of this network, I'm able to connect with people from different countries, and I'm very thankful. It's been very, very useful for what I've done. And yeah, moving on, tell us a little bit more about your business and what because we share business in this network. So obviously I will promote AAA hydrogen as a hydrogen expert there. You are the cloth expert. Tell us more.
Bề bối. Okay, so according to BNI chapter rules, only one profession or one specialty may be represented in that chapter. So I'm the one who represent Norwex in my Achievers chapter, and Dr. Jerry will represent his hydrogen water, I can say hydrogen water treatment device. Okay, so Norwex is a very amazing product that just clean with only water. Okay, tonight we are talking about water. So my Norwex cloth is very easy and simple to use, just clean with only water and without harmful chemicals required. And Norwex microfiber cloth also proven to remove 99% of bacteria from surfaces using only water. Products are among the most toxic items in the home, and in Norwex we maximize the base to traditional chemical base replace the single use of plastic, paper towels and kitchen towels, and also our packaging incorporates to ocean bound plastic. That means we pick up all the sampah in the ocean, you know. Yeah, so which helps to reduce the amounts of plastic entering into the ocean that may harm the marine life, which is our fishes that we eat. And yeah,
wonderful. Yeah, I've been using your product. It's great. It goes quite well with my hydrogen water. And yeah, I put hydrogen water in a cloth, and then I clean my face. I clean different parts of my body. Cannot show you, but it's
yeah.
Tell me, yeah, when we first met, you said, okay, you wanted to try the hydrogen water. How was it for you? And you also got the Oxy Hydrogen. So you're the best spokesman for us because you took both. So tell us a little bit about your experience and how you find it.
Yeah, I recall the day when Dr. Jerry came to meet me lah. Okay, and then he just showed me about this hydrogen device. And first, I was so actually I like this device because it is portable. So after listening to his explanation, and then I also understand that our human body comprises around 70% of water. So, and I believe drinking a good water, it helps to improve our health and nutrition, right, Dr. Jerry?
Of course.
Yeah, so I get to know him and he explained. So after listening to his explanation about the benefits of the hydrogen, then I just quickly order 6 units of this. 6 units. That means 2 package of this. Okay. So, yeah. So before I come across this AAA hydrogen water, actually I went for a treatment outside. Yeah, I went for a treatment because due to my personal encounter some issues lah. Okay, so after that he came and approached me about this, and I never think twice. I just say, okay, you give me 2 packages. Why I need so many units? Okay, because when I go travel or I go out anywhere, I can take it as my tumbler. So whenever I want to drink, I will just do the hydrogen and then I just drink it lah. Okay, and a few units I kept is because I want to help people. Okay, when I come across that people that they are sick or they have some issues, and especially now the COVID time, yeah, so I just pass to that. I say you just use it first. If you want it, then you can get it for yourself lah. Okay, so I just pass it to them. So it is good for I think after drinking the hydrogen water, I can feel my health issue improve, especially for like high blood and almost diabetes already, because I love to eat tong sui, and also I love to eat rice. Okay, and also I feel I'm more how to say every day I have the energy lah. If not like bola, like low energy, very low energy. Every day I just consume like 8 cups of this hydrogen water, start from in the morning lah. Okay, so there's an indication here that you can know lah. Yeah, you see now I'm also doing this water. And another thing I want to tell is, after drinking this water, I feel like my stomach is not bloated, you know. Yeah, so as compared to if I drink the normal plain water, I can only drink two glasses only. But with this hydrogen water, it's just like when you are drinking a wine, you know, you sit there, you chit chat with friends, and then you just drink it glass by glass. Okay, Dr. Jerry, back to you.
Wonderful, thank you. And I know
Oh yeah, I also have the inhaling one. Yeah, you know how I got this? I actually I want to thank to one of my friend that he. I went and approach him and I tell him about this hydrogen device, and then after that he immediately contacted Dr. Jerry, and then he got a few packages. He signed up for I think 2 or 3 packages, so that's why I got this hydrogen inhaler for free. How much is that one cost? I think is about 10,000, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
9990.
Yeah, so I was so happy and I got it for free because I thought I want to buy one in maybe in the next few months. And when Zenny called me out, Zenny said, Evelyn, you know, you got this hydro oxygen inhaler device for free. So I was so happy, and I was telling my son also, wow, I got this for free. Then I've been using it for twice a day, every morning and at night time before I sleep. And my husband also use that, so I feel it like I find it very good to treat my insomnia problem, because I can like sleep like in the middle of the night from maybe 3 or 4 a.m. Sometimes I couldn't have a very good sleep, you see. So now with this, every night I just inhale it for 1 hour, and after that I can sleep until morning already. And also I do a lot of exercise. Now I can go for exercise already. Previously I can't wake up, no strength, bola, you see. Now after taking all these hydrogen every day hydrogen non-stop, so I find my health improve a lot. Yeah, and also my skin also looks beautiful and young. I also used to wash my face with the cloth also.
Yeah, thanks, Evelyn. Incredible. Yeah, you look so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes, it's proven, the scientific study is that hydrogen synthesizes your collagen, because our body produces high collagen. We also consume, in fact, collagen is the highest amount of protein in our body. It's what keeps our whole body functioning together, especially our skin and our muscles and everything. We need collagen. But it's very hard to absorb collagen. So when you buy collagen, you have to be very careful in terms of what you can absorb. But hydrogen helps to synthesize and break down the collagen so that your body can use it. That is the important part. That's why you have to use it on your skin. You can drink it, you can breathe it. It is very important for anti-aging. Thank you very much, Evelyn. Thank you. Thanks for the sharing.
Most welcome.
I'm going to run through a few other testimonials here. I think you guys have heard from Kelvin. Unfortunately, he got COVID-19, but luckily for him, he has all the hydrogen devices, the water as well as the purifier to help him recover. We're not going to let him talk because we don't have that much time. Joyce also, same thing. He also got experience with the COVID-19. If you want, I think there is somewhere in the YouTube can hear her testimony about how she recovered. All I know is from our group, people who have been using hydrogen, they're all doing very well against COVID. And the AAA water is very famous and well known for controlling sugar. This is an old uncle that I met, and we managed to bring his sugar down almost within an hour. And this is another person within an hour, sugar dropping. This is a guy that suffered uric acid gout for 15 years, always having an injection to ease the pain. Now he can go back to drinking red wine, eating roast duck, because he's consuming the water and using the oxyhydrogen. This is basically an inflammation of the lips due to a fall. So keep spraying if you get into this problem, and drinking, and also using the gas if you have it. This is a serious psoriasis. This won't recover in a day or two. You got to keep using for several weeks before you can see the result. And inflammation of the veins, very important. This took, you see, 5 months. But you can see progress. So you got to keep doing until you get better and better. Of course, we have some serious cases of cancer that we have helped. This is nasopharyngeal carcinoma, which is like a throat cancer. Has been using it, very useful. This is an amazing story of this lady who is basically terminal in terms of the cancer that has spread to her lungs and her brain. And she's been using hydrogen diligently, drinking a lot, and also using the oxyhydrogen for 6 to 8 hours a day. And well, in the interest of time, we'll set some time here to take some Q&A. For those of you who want to reach me, these are some of my contacts, my email. You can go to the YouTube to see some of the topics that I've discussed. So thank you very much. Keith, I'll hand back to you if you got any questions.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Jerry, and thank you for the sharing today. And thank you, our guest, Dr. Philip, and our special guest, Evelyn Lim as well. So we are going to have a 20 minutes Q&A section. So if you have any question, you just may write in the chat room, and I will read it out, and Dr. Jerry will assist to answer your question. So for the moment, I already saw like 2 questions in the chat room already. So the first question is from Esther Hall. The question is about how long do we need to use it every day? Is there max duration per day? Yeah, Dr. Jerry?
I guess Esther is talking about the oxyhydrogen. Basically, it depends on your health condition. If you are very sick, if you're very ill, or you are recovering from some disease, I would suggest that whether it's the eyes, the ears, or the nose, you should start with 30 minutes. The reason is you need to have your body get used to it, right? You start with 30 minutes. If you feel nothing bad, no dizziness, no nausea, no breathing difficulty, then you can continue up to an hour, or you can rest a bit and then do it twice a day. But once your body get used to it, for example, the cancer people, they do it for 2 hours 3-4 times a day. So you are talking about 6 to 8 hours. As far as the machine is concerned, you can set it for 30 minutes or you can set it up to 2 hours. 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and 2 hours. So what happened is, if you use it for 2 hours, you got to let the machine rest for, say, about 30 minutes before you continue. Because the side product is only water, compared to other supplements or other medicine you are taking, there's a limit to that. But in this case, there's really no limit. A lot of people take it throughout the day, and then when they want to sleep, they will put 2 hours maximum, put onto their nose, and then they just fall asleep until the machine stops by itself somewhere in the middle of the night. So to answer your question, maximum each time would be 2 hours, but always start with 30 minutes to let your body get used to it. And then the maximum per day would be 6 to 8 hours. Next question.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Jerry. Okay, so the second question is from Ivy Su. The question is about, is this hydrogen machine suitable to use with RO water?
Yes, this hydrogen machine can only work with 2 types of water. Because you want the water to be absolutely mineral free. No other minerals inside. So you need either distilled water or RO water. It's different from drinking. This is to create the gas. So the better the water, it won't disturb the machine. So luckily the machine is automatic, meaning if there is too much minerals inside, then machine will stop running. So this is an intelligent machine. It will stop if there's some overheating. It will stop if the water is not clean. It will stop if there is imbalance. That means if you shake the machine or it's tilted, it will also stop. If there's a water shortage, it will also stop and tell you it's a water shortage. You need to top it up. To maintain the quality of the machine, it's best to use distilled water. And Spritzer has distilled water, blue color, which you can use. All right. You can also use RO water, but let me warn you, even RO, some are not true RO, because RO is reverse osmosis. They have to filter it through a membrane. Sometimes they don't clean the membrane. They don't replace the membrane. So some RO water are not well made. But it's okay, because if it is not absolutely clean, the machine will stop. And then you have to drain off the water and replace it with the right kind of water. Next question, Brian, Keith.
Okay, sure. So the third question is from Brian Key. The question is about, what are your opinions on using hydrogen water on wounds?
Okay. It depends on the kind of wound you have. For open wounds or wet wounds, obviously you want to use the hydrogen gas. Would be better than wetting it, okay? Because, as I said, if you use hydrogen water, it is still water. It has dissolved hydrogen inside, but it is still water. So you don't want to wet the wound with hydrogen water. But what you can do is you need to drink it. You need to drink the hydrogen water, and on the wound itself, you can bag it. You can put a bag and you can put hydrogen gas to help with the healing. That is my recommendation. Next question.
Okay, the next question is from Saw. The question is about, can kidney failure patients drink hydrogen water? How many cups per day?
People with kidney failure should limit their water intake because the kidney cannot process it. So it is even more important that they drink quality water, because they cannot have the quantity. You understand? When you cannot have the quantity, you want the quality, so that it's concentrated. So hydrogen water is the best for them, but they can only take maybe 800 to 1000 ml, not more than 1 liter. Their doctor will advise them, usually about 800 ml, which is In our case, about 3 cups, something like that. Now, what I would recommend is for kidney patient to use the oxyhydrogen more, because that one has no limit. You can use for 6 hours a day, and it will really help your kidney, because when you breathe the gas, in about 10 minutes, it will start entering your bloodstream and you can detect it in your organs already. In about 30 minutes to 45 minutes, it will start saturating up to your liver, your lungs, your brain, and even your kidney and your muscles. So you got to inhale more than an hour if you have kidney problems, and try to do it for 3-4 times a day. Next question.
Okay, the next question is from Winnie Boo. Any side effect when we just started, like will flush out the toxin through skin?
Yes, some people, depending on whether you're drinking the water or the gas, but there is always some healing effect or detox effect. When your body is full of toxins, how the body get rid of it will be sometimes through your skin, where you develop some short-term rashes. Sometimes you have diarrhea, especially with the water. Why? Because that's your body's way of throwing out the toxins. We have a case. I have experienced a case where the guy actually vomited, which is okay, because when you got something poisonous in you, you want to vomit. So vomiting is not a bad thing. If you drink too much alcohol, overdose, you will vomit. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. You should vomit more, drink more water, and keep vomiting it. Because when you have poison, you go to the hospital, they also suck things out from your stomach. So vomiting, don't have a fear. Unless you vomit blood, then you got to go to the hospital because there's something else hemorrhaging in your stomach. So vomiting, breakout through the skin, these are all very common healing effects when you start changing in
And skincare purpose.
Okay, in terms of infusion, okay, into your skin, you can do a bathtub and you can pump the hydrogen in for a period of time, but of course the flow rate requires you to maybe turn it on for 30 minutes before you can start using, and you can soak yourself in, or you can put a plastic bag on your hand, on your body, or even on your breast if you have breast cancer, to let the hydrogen infuse into your skin. That is one way. Of course, when you drink the hydrogen water, it will act from within. But if you use the hydrogen gas from outside, then it's going to come in through your skin. So there are various ways to do that. And we already have some ladies already doing it. And we have seen some benefit of it. So yes, you can infuse the hydrogen gas into the water and soaking yourself in. And you can also put it into a tub of water and then use the water to wash your face, or you can soak your cloth like your Novex lady here and put it in. And yes, these are all the ways that you can use hydrogen to benefit your body, because our skin also gets a lot of radical damage every day from the sunlight, from the air, from the Next question.
Okay, the next questions, hold on. Is from Miracles Hydrogen Waters. Okay, the question is about, will Oxy Hydrogen Purifier helps dialysis patients? Any testimony for dialysis patients have improved after using 3A hydrogen water and Oxy Hydrogen Purifier?
I think I answered the question earlier in terms of the limited number of water you can drink. It is even more important you drink hydrogen water, because you cannot drink a lot of water. It is important you use the oxyhydrogen, because otherwise your kidney cannot get treated easily. In terms of testimonial, yes, we have. You need to contact Zenny to get some of the testimonials related to kidney. Next question.
Okay, sure. The next question is from Winnie Boo. For Kenyan alkaline water, which the recommends level like 7 or 8.5 to use for the drinking hydrogen bottle?
I think any alkaline machine that you have, including Kangen, number one, you must have it properly maintained. A lot of people pay a lot of money for such machines, but they don't maintain it well. It's like driving a BMW, you need to service it properly, right? So you need to maintain it well so that it will be optimum. Once it's optimum, if you use it fresh into the hydrogen device, you can use 8.5, which is already alkaline. Anything above 7 is alkaline. If you're going to carry the water around before you use it, a few hours later, then maybe you can use 9.5 because the alkalinity will drop after a few hours. So between 8.5 to 9.5. Because I drink it quite fresh, so I use it at 8.5. You can use that water to make your hydrogen water. Okay, next question.
Next question is from the Kamlun Chia. Can oxy-hydrogen machine replace with oxygen concentrator? Thank for coke patients.
Okay, for people with COPD or any kind of respiratory issues, it depends on your oxygen level. If you are dropping below 95 and you need to boost your oxygen, you can use the single oxygen outlet to improve the oxygen intake, because the oxygen that comes out is 99.99% pure. So to improve your oxygen level, so you need to get an oximeter. Once it reaches above 95, then you can switch to the 2-in-1, which is the hydrogen and oxygen. Why? Because you've been taking a lot of oxygen. You also, like what I explained just now, you also want to modulate. You also want to make sure that you remove the oxidative stress that is created by all the oxygen. So people who are on concentrator, people who are on ventilator, is even more important that they have to switch and include hydrogen. So in China, for example, they have the oxygen, but they also put a mask and include the hydrogen. So they inhale the hydrogen with the oxygen, and then they put extra oxygen mask over the inhaler, like a 2-in-1 kind of operation. For people with serious low oxygen level, this is what you need to do. You increase the oxygen intake, but at the same time, you balance it with the hydrogen. Okay, next question.
Okay, next question is from SN Ding. The question is about what is the max amount of hydrogen water we can take a day?
Well, basically, depends on your lifestyle. An average person would want to drink 8 to 10 cups, which is about 2 to 3 liters. It depends on your body weight and depends on your job. If you exercise a lot, if you're always in the aircon, and the problem is air conditioning, because you feel cool, you don't sweat, you think you don't need water. Actually, you're losing a lot of water. A lot of people become very dry because they don't feel the need to drink. It is more important you drink water when you sleep in the aircon or you work in the aircon office or drive an aircon car. So you don't sweat, you don't think you need water, but you actually need it. So for most people, 2 to 3 liters. If you exercise, you sweat, or if you find that you are in a very dry environment, you want to increase that to maybe 3 to 4 liters. But you don't have to. Generally, most people do not need to go above 4 liters. And as I mentioned earlier, if you have some kind of kidney disease and things like that, you need to restrict your water intake so you don't take so much. Try to drink more during the morning part, during the daytime, and not so much at night, but some at night, because if you drink a lot at night, you may need to go to the toilet too often, and that is troublesome. So you need to, but don't stop drinking in the evening, but drink less. But concentrate on drinking a lot in the morning and during the daytime. If you don't go to the toilet For 2 hours, that means you're not drinking enough water. That is how you know. And if you feel thirsty, it's too late. That means you needed to drink 1 hour ago. Next question.
Okay, the next question is from Winnie. The question is about, can I use alkaline water for my machine?
Yes, of course. As I mentioned earlier, you can use alkaline water. Oh, you're talking about which machine? If you talk about for the water, of course, you can put alkaline water to drink the water from AAA, but you cannot use alkaline water for the oxy-hydrogen gas machine. As I said earlier, only distilled water, only RO water. These two, no exception. No alkaline water for the oxy-hydrogen. It won't run. If you put it in, the alarm will come on and say TDS. TDS error message means total dissolved solid. When the TDS comes on, it means that there's too many dissolved solid in your water. It cannot run. It's a safety feature because it will not be good for the machine if you run it. Okay, next question.
Okay, next question from SN Ding again. The question is about how quickly we must take the hydrogen water before they evaporate off.
When you produce the hydrogen water using the AAA device, if you keep it enclosed, it probably can last you about half an hour to 1 hour. But if you open it and put it in a glass, you need to drink it within 30 minutes. Of course, it will, after about 15 minutes, it will start dropping quite quickly. This kind of portable machine, like what Evelyn said just now, the convenience is for you to make it fresh. So please drink it fresh and don't make and then keep it and drink later. That's not the way it should be. Okay. If you keep it in a dark glass bottle, fully airtight to the maximum, you can probably save it for 2 days, 3 days maximum, but not in the heat and not in the sun. Because hydrogen, as I said, is the lightest gas in the world. Any chance, it will escape. If there's a small air gap in your bottle, it will also react with the extra oxygen. So drink it fresh as possible. All right. Is that the last question, Keith?
Yes, the last question is from Winnie Boo. Question is about, once we newly start the oxy-hydrogen, which one we should inhale first, oxy-hydrogen or just hydrogen as a start?
I think when you first get the machine, the first thing you should do is do your eyes. Only hydrogen. Because you want to feel the effect of the hydrogen into your body straight away. And the next thing you should do is your ears, so that you can at least improve your brain first. So the whole upper part of the body is where we always lack. That's why we got so many eyes problem and so many brain problem, and we are using computers and laptops and handphone. So we want to take care of those first, and you can feel the effect fast. Then after that, you want to use the 2-in-1. It's very seldom that you would inhale hydrogen directly. People with cancer, it is possible that you do the hydrogen, but you need to switch back to the 2-in-1. But for general people, before sleeping, it's a good idea to just take the inhaler, for the nasal inhaler, for the 2-in-1. So that is what I would suggest for new people who just got the machine, and this is the way you should proceed. And then any question?
Yeah, I think that's all, Dr. Jerry, as our 20 minutes Q&A session is already
Let's take the
over.
last question. It's an interesting question. Somebody asked about brain.
Ask about brain. Is it from the SAW?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, the question is about, a friend has shrinking brain size. Can hydrogen help to restore the size?
You know, there's a lot of people who say, you know, that old people, their brain is shrinking. That is why they got memory problems and balancing problem. Well, one of the reasons why your brain probably is not functioning well is due to the oxidative damage, because, you know, it's a two-edged sword, right? Just now I did a test. Your brain need how many percent of the oxygen that you breathe? 20%. So a large part of the air that you breathe, every time you breathe in, 1/5 goes to your brain. But we also know that oxygen creates damage through oxidative stress, through radical damage. So the more you breathe, the more you are damaging. Do you understand? So you see a lot of athletes, they suffer a lot of brain damage because they exercise so much, they bring in so much oxygen, but they don't do anything about balancing and removing the radicals. So can hydrogen help? Of course, 100%. You need to breathe it, you need to put in your ears, and you need to use it in your eyes. So ask your friend to do this 3-in-1 every day, and I think it will help him a lot. All right. Thank you so much. It's 10 o'clock. So I think it was a good session. I want to thank my guests, Dr. Philip and Evelyn. Thank you so much.